and of course NRP media.com. We appreciate you. We thank you so much for keeping it locked right here on this our station. And of course, we are grateful that you continue to log on 24 hours per day. Remember that we are indeed the home. We are the place for all of your music, all of your news, all of your information. That is why we are here this morning, coming in on a Sunday morning to give you the special information that we have to share with you. So don't go anywhere. We've got much in store for you. We appreciate the fact that you continue to support us here on this station. And of course, we know that you will continue to also spread the word and to let others know about the station that we are operating out of Christiana in Manchester, Jamaica. Of course, it's online. We go 24 hours per day and 365 days per year. So we're going to be bringing you the news now right here on this platform. And we want to ask that you stay with us because it's going to be an extensive package this morning. We go maybe for an hour or so right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. If you're just joining us, please, we want to say thanks to you and leave something in the chat to let us know who's watching and where you're watching from so that we can at least acknowledge you in due course. So stay with us right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. We're going to be giving you the news now, and then we come back to give you some music in between there. So stay with us. It's now 3 minutes after 8. It's time for the news. All right, let's do that one more time. The news gets on the way just about now with our theme. All right, we seem to be having a little bit of a trouble here, but we're sorting that out, and that should be, we should be on top of that momentarily. All right, let's check this out and see what's going on here. All right, sometimes, technology gets the better of us, but nonetheless, we can still, song always says, forward still, tis Jehovah's will. Though the billows dash and spray with a conquering trend, we will push ahead. And what we will do, we will roll the sea away. We know that from time to time, challenges do, present themselves. But let's see if we can sort that out quickly and definitely get back to you to ensure that we have the newscast rolling for you on this here morning. The Lord bless you as you continue to listen to us. All right. So we are not going to be able to bring the theme music. So what we're going to do at this time, we're going to pause a little bit and see if we can sort this audio section out and get right back to you. Let's go back to our playlist and we'll come right back to you momentarily. This is NRP Radio.
Your love is kind. Your love is patient. You fill my heart with so much peace and joy. Oh, you're amazing. Come on, you make my life. Oh, you're amazing. You made my life. Yes, God. Hey, Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, too much. Oh, too much. Oh, excess love. Oh, Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, too much. Oh, too much. Oh, excess love. Oh. Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, yeah, yeah. Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. Say, your love is kind. Oh, your love is patient. Say, you fill my heart. You fill my heart with so much peace and joy. Thank you, Jesus. Hey. You're amazing. Come on, say you make my life. You make my life feel bright. You're amazing. You make my life. You make my life feel bright. Hey, Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, yes, God, Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love, too much, oh. Too much, oh, too much, oh. Hey, too much, oh. Y'all sound so good tonight. Come on, everybody say too much, too much, too much, oh. Too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. Well, I'm amazing, oh. Undescribable, you are God. Too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. Come on, let's sing it out. Come on. Too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love. God, I love you for all the love you give. Jesus, you love me. Too much, oh, 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 too much. Jesus, you love me. Too much, oh, too much, oh, there's nobody like that. There's nobody like that. Jesus, we love you. Too much, oh. Too much, oh. Too much, oh. Excess love, oh. Too much, oh. Too much, oh. Too much, oh. Love me too much, oh, too much or excess love. Too much, oh, too much, excess love, oh. Hey, Jesus, you love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love, oh, love me too much, oh, too much, oh, too much, oh, excess love, oh.
All right, as you are aware, we were trying to launch our newscast, but we're having some difficulties. And so we are just continuing to provide you with some music in the meantime and in between time, so that we can continue to get our system restarted. And hopefully we can get the news up and running in just a moment. It's a special thing. It's not a usual thing on a Sunday morning, and so we want to let it happen nonetheless, irrespective of the challenge that we are facing. So, for those of you who are joining me, thank you so much for understanding and appreciating that technology will fail at times. But the song you just heard speaks to or spoke to excess love, and that is what God provides for us. The kind of love that He gave, He said, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten." There's no other that is going to come from that line. That's the only one that is going to come from that line, right? The only begotten Son, right? That whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And therefore, we want to recommend Him to you this morning. If you have not come in contact with Him, He has been waiting and has been knocking at your heart's door and saying to you, "Come unto me." He said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Therefore, if you go to God, He will provide for you. He's a provider, He's a sustainer, He's a keeper. And so as we go through our Sunday like this, let us be reminded as we wake up this morning that the God of Jacob, the God of Daniel, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is still the God that we serve today. His name is Jesus, because we like to be associated with someone who we know. And of course, on a day like this, it's no different. We want to continue to be associated with Jesus Christ. We want to be associated with the Lord and Savior of our lives. And He got a name, and His name is Jesus. There's no other name. That's what the Scripture says. There's no other name given under heaven among men whereby we must be saved. And therefore, bearing all of that in mind, you and I need to always remember that there is a God. He is a God that never fails. No, no, no. He never fails. And so we want to continue to trust in Him this morning, believing that as we put our trust in Him, that He will always, 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 sustain us and keep us on our journey. Let's put in this morning one of these very, very important scripture. Let us see if we can reach for St. Matthew chapter 19. St. Matthew chapter 19. In the meantime, we await our system to reboot so that we can present the news for you this morning. So let's go to St. Matthew chapter 19. And if we can bring that up this morning, then we will share that with you. And what did Jesus actually teach on divorce matters? Because, so much of that is taking place. So let's go to St. Matthew chapter 19 in the meantime, and we will come right back with presenting the newscast, maybe at 8:30, going up to 9 o'clock, as soon as we get our system up and running. The Lord bless you as we continue to challenge the enemy this morning, because we know that the enemy does not want anything good to happen, and therefore he puts in place in the space something to create this kind of hold on our system. And so we want to let him know this morning that the name of Jesus is a strong and mighty tower, and we know that God will allow us to prosper and go forward and to stand against the wiles of the enemy. Let's see if we can get St. Matthew chapter 19 from the KFJ audio Bible playing. All right, so we do have that system. So that challenge still not coming up on the system that we wanted to. But we will it's a hardware issue, and so we will sort that out momentarily, and we'll definitely come back to you with the news some point during the course of this morning. Stay with us right here on this station. It is the station, and is the station for the nation. Let's go back to some music on our playlist, and we will definitely try our best to sort that out and come right back to you. Stay with us. It is NRP Radio and NRP Media.
Be the church.
Why? But from so, and I whosoever shall put away and shall other adultery. Whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. His disciples say unto him,
Hey, check this out. So I stopped.
For the church triumphant is alive and awake. You know this old ship's been through battles before. The storms and the tempests, and the rocks on the shore. Though the hull may be battered, but inside it's safe and dry. It's gonna carry its cargo to the port in the sky.
God has always had a people. Many a foolish conqueror has made the mistake of thinking that because he had forced the church of Jesus Christ out of sight, he had stilled its voice and snuffed out its life. But God has always had a people. The powerful current of a rushing river is not diminished because it's forced to flow underground. No, the purest water is the stream that bursts crystal clear into the sunlight after it has forced its way through solid rock. There have been charlatans who, like Simon the magician, sought to barter on the open market the power which cannot be bought or sold. But God has always had a people, men who were beyond purchase and women who could not be bought. There have been times of affluence and prosperity when the church's message has been nearly diluted into oblivion by those who sought to make it socially attractive, neatly organized, and financially profitable. It has been gold-plated and encrusted with jewels, draped in purple. It has been misrepresented, ridiculed, lauded, scorned. These followers of Jesus Christ have been, according to the whim of the times, elevated as sacred leaders and martyred as heretics. Yet through it all, there marches on that powerful army of the meek, God's chosen people who cannot be bought, flattered, murdered, or stilled. All through the ages they march. The church, God's church triumphant, alive and well. Let the church be the church. Let the people rejoice. For we settle the question. We've made our choice. Let the anthems ring out.
It's alive. Discouraged pastor, it's his church, and it's still alive. Lonely missionaries, sow that seed with confidence. The church is still alive. Old Satan, you're not alone or forgotten. The church is still alive. My broken-hearted friend, the church is still alive. Be together. Just keep trusting in Jesus. The church is still alive. You're not alone out there, young student serving the Lord. Just keep looking up to Jesus. The church is alive. And faithful Father, there's rest in the Lord. The church is still alive. So family of God, lift your hands. Lift your hands and praise the Lord. God's church triumphant is alive. It's alive, my friend.
Yes, the church triumphant is alive and well. It's 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. I think we have now sorted out our kinks in the system, and we're now prepared to present the package of news and information for you on this here Sunday morning. Stand by. Good morning and welcome now to the our platform that is nrpmediaja.com, or radio platform, as also our YouTube and Facebook pages at the with the handle NRP Media JA. It's a Sunday, November 17, 2024. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Sunday Morning News Roundup. The package of this morning comes to you courtesy of Hepburn's Glass. They are located over there in Kingston in Jamaica.
Hepburn's Glass Supplies is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted and clear glasses, as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none, with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 908-0962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass. Quality service is our priority.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now the details of our news. Dr. Andre Horton, the People's National Party representative for West Central St. James, has called on the government to urgently address the escalating traffic crisis affecting Montego Bay. According to Mr. Horton, his concerns are leveled at particularly in areas of Granville, Tucker, St. Salem, Mount Salem rather, and the Retirement Corridor, as well as the wider town. He says the residents and the commuters face mounting frustration as gridlock and delays disrupt their daily routines, impacting productivity and posing health and safety risks.
The traffic situation has reached crisis levels, especially at key bottlenecks like the Granville Tucker Retirement Corridor and at the Vista Print intersection. In the mornings, in the middle day, and in the evenings are very, very cumbersome for people to commute because of the unbearable traffic situation, and we are calling on the government to address this urgently. I am committed to addressing this issue with urgency, and my team and I are working closely with Councillor Michael Troop and the relevant traffic authorities to identify solutions. We implore the government to do the same.
And continuing, Mr. Horton, that should be Dr. Horton, says affected residents have highlighted several key issues which are resulting in the hardships they now face.
One is the severe bottleneck right there at the Vista Print area. Two, limited enforcement of traffic regulations. Three, public health and safety concerns with increased risk of accidents and delayed emergency responses due to the gridlock. To address these issues, I'm encouraging the traffic authority to conduct a comprehensive review of the traffic flow and make the necessary adjustments. I am asking them also to collaborate with law enforcement and the community development committees, CDCs, to strengthen traffic laws and enforcement along major congested corridors. And I'm asking all the stakeholders to let us convene a meeting very, very soon to discuss how, as a nation or as a city, we're going to escape this traffic congestion problem that we are faced with in Montego Bay.
That was the People's National Party representative for West Central St. James, Dr. Andre Horton. The St. Andrew South police are probing the circumstances surrounding the death of 17-year-old Saeed Mitchell, otherwise called Breda Breda, of Metcalf Road, Kingston, at the intersection of Ashley Road and Burke Road in Spanish Town. In the parish, rather. Reports from the Hunts Bay police are that about 8:40 a.m., lawmen were in the area when they heard explosions. The officers went to investigate and found Mitchell shot and injured along the roadway. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. Meanwhile, the St. Andrew South police are probing the circumstances surrounding the death of a 36-year-old Dashawn Newry, a taxi operator of a Barbican Road, Kingston 8, at school on Ricketts Avenue in St. Andrew on November 15. Reports from the Hunts Bay police are that about 8:55 a.m., Newry was making a drop-off at the school when he was attacked by a gunman who opened fire, hitting him. The gunman escaped in a waiting Toyota Probox motor car. Newry was later taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. The Inspectorate of Professional Standards Oversight Bureau, IPROBE, and the Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, have commenced separate probes into a recent police shooting in St. Catherine. Reports are that one man was fatally shot during a confrontation with security forces in Guys Hill, St. Catherine, between the hours of 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Friday, November 15. He has been identified as 40-year-old Aloy Grant, otherwise called Dabdu, of Waterford, St. Catherine. The details of the shooting is not yet known, as the police have not yet revealed the circumstances. In sports, Jamaica's Athletics Administrative Association J3's president, Garth Gale, will return to the position of the J3A's annual general meeting set for, and as a matter of fact, he will be returned to the position of the Jamaica Athletic Administration Association president. When the general meeting set for Jamaica College Ashnaim Auditorium on Saturday, November 23 at 9 o'clock. Gale and his executive have been nominated unopposed, but there will be a couple of changes, as reported by the Observer, with members switching places. Gale, who will be starting his third term, said getting the sport back up and running in 2021 is a big deal after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. And he says, this, he says, was the major accomplishment of his administration. He added that the way in which the team saw to the smooth and timely return of the track and field competition was, in his opinion, what led to his team being returned mostly unchanged. Finally, on cricket, Shai Hope and Evan Lewis tore through England's bowlers, and the West Indies completed a historic run chase at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in a memorable 5-wicket victory over their arch rivals here on Saturday. While the win only served as a consolation, with England already having wrapped up the best of 5 series by winning the first 3 matches. Player of the match, Hope and Lewis, helped power the West Indies to 221 for 5 in 19 overs in pursuit of their opponent's formidable 218 for 5. It was the highest ever run chase at the ground, and the 136 runs which Hope and Lewis put on were also the most by the West Indies after the first 10 overs in T20 cricket. Faced with the mammoth task of scoring at almost 11 runs and over, the pair started slowly managing only 5 runs from the first 2 overs. However, they unleashed their fury in the next over, bowled by pacer John Turner, with Lewis smashing his first ball over deep backward square leg for 6 before Hope crunched his last 4 balls for 3 fours and a 6 as the West Indies raced to 30 without loss. Hope brought up the West Indies 50 in the 5th over by driving Sam Curran to the boundary, and both batters then crunched spinner Dan Mosley for respective 6s in the 6th over. So congratulations to the West Indies for winning this match, which is of a little effect on the series as the England's team has already won the series. That's sports right here inside of our Sunday morning feature. Now for the international news package, which is coming up right here. It's Worldwide in 5, courtesy of the Voice of America. The Voice of America is our international partner. We want to say thanks to them, as always, for always being there to bring us the latest in the news. Let's join them now.
Hi, I'm VOA's Alexis Strope with your worldwide news update. U.S. President Joe Biden met with China's leader Xi Jinping for the last time Saturday on the sidelines of the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Biden talked in broad brushstrokes about where the relationship between the two countries has gone. He reflected not just on the past 4 years, but on the decades the two have known each other.
We haven't always agreed, but our conversations have always been candid and always been frank. We have never kidded one another. We've been level with one another. I think that's vital. These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict.
Xi was already looking ahead to President-elect Donald Trump and his America First policies, saying Beijing is ready to work with a new administration. During the meeting, Xi cautioned the U.S. to make the wise choice to keep relations stable. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Ukraine must do all it can to ensure the war with Russia ends next year through diplomacy. He said the conflict could end more quickly under Trump's leadership. Reuters correspondent Lucy Fielder has more.
With the policy of the team that will head the White House now, he said the war will end sooner. However, Zelensky said Russian President Vladimir Putin was not interested in agreeing to a peace deal. Moscow's ambassador to the UN in Geneva said on Thursday Russia would be open to negotiations on an end to the war if they were initiated by Trump, though he added that these would have to acknowledge, quote, realities on the ground. Moscow uses this phrase to mean Ukraine would have to cede 4 regions that Russian forces have partly occupied and that Russia has claimed in their entirety. Zelensky has repeatedly said that peace cannot be established until all Russian forces are expelled and all territory captured by Moscow is returned.
That was Reuters correspondent Lucy Fielder. This is VOA News. Protesters in Georgia's Russia-backed breakaway region of Abkhazia declined on Saturday to leave the parliament building, which they stormed the previous day, a departure proposed by the region's president as a condition for resigning. Reuters correspondent Olivia Zelino reports.
They occupied the building in protest of an investment agreement with Moscow. Abkhazian opposition leaders said the agreement would allow for investment projects by Russian legal entities. They added that it would price locals out of the property market by allowing far more Russian money to flow in. Protesters used a truck to smash through the metal gates surrounding the capital's parliament. Video from the scene then showed people climbing through windows after prying off metal bars and chanting in the corridors. Moscow said on Friday it was following the, quote, crisis situation with concern and urged Russian citizens to avoid travel to Abkhazia.
That was Reuters correspondent Olivia Zelino. Lebanese state media says Israeli ground forces have reached their deepest point in Lebanon since invading 6 weeks ago, but they pulled back after battles with Hezbollah militants. Elsewhere in Lebanon, a strike killed a couple and their 4 children. In Israel, the military says a Hezbollah rocket struck a synagogue and hurt 2 civilians. The clashes and further bombardment came as Lebanese and Hezbollah officials study a draft proposal presented by the U.S. on ending the war. Lebanon's health ministry says 80% of the more than 3,400 people killed in Lebanon by Israeli fire have died in the past 8 weeks. A knife attack at a vocational school in eastern China leaves at least 8 dead. AP correspondent Nyan Kim reports.
A 21-year-old male with the surname Xu was detained at the scene in Wuxi. Xu had failed his exams and could not graduate, according to police, and was dissatisfied about his pay at an internship. This is the second mass deadly attack in China just this week, after a man drove his car into people at a sports center in Zhuhai, killing at least 35. Police said the driver was unhappy with his divorce settlement. China has seen increasing attacks in which members of the public are targeted at random, sparking questions about public violence and mental health in the country. I'm Nayan Kim.
Health officials say they have confirmed the first U.S. case of a new form of Mpox that was first seen in eastern Congo. Authorities said Saturday the risk to the public is low. The person had traveled to eastern Africa and was treated in California. Officials say the symptoms are improving. Earlier this year, scientists reported the emergence of a new form of Mpox in Africa that was spread through close contact, including through sex. Most of the cases have been in Central and Eastern Africa. Cases involving travelers have been reported in Germany, India, Kenya, Sweden, Thailand, Zimbabwe, and the United Kingdom. That wraps up this update, but the world and news never stop. For additional updates, visit our website. I'm Alexis Strope, VOA News.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest from the Voice of America. It's worldwide in 5, courtesy of the VOA. Now let's give you the latest from the National Met Service, which is reporting that there is a significant feature of a cold front just north of Jamaica. The cold front is expected to move across Jamaica today. Cloudy and cool conditions are expected, mainly across the sections of northern parishes. A high pressure is expected to build across the Central Caribbean on Monday. In the 24-hour forecast this morning, and into the afternoon, expect cloudy and cool conditions. In the evening and into tonight, partly cloudy and cool. The 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday through to Wednesday, mainly sunny during the daytime. Other current regional weather features, there's a tropical storm Sarah, currently located 90 kilometers southeast of Belize City. The maximum temperature expected for Kingston and Montego Bay today, 31 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast from the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica. Continue to listen to us throughout the course of the day, where we'll give you lots more. With that, we're going to be moving on now to provide you with the latest from the Jamaica Information Service. And of course, that is brought to you right here on this station. The program is carried in place of, provided to you this morning, as per usual, the Sunday News and Jamaica Promise from the Jamaica Information Service, aired in time, allowed for government broadcast. Let's listen to the latest feature from the GIS.
News, GIS News, a roundup of government lead stories for the week. The Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, says there are no plans at present to hike electricity rates to boost the Electricity Disaster Fund, EDF. The EDF, which is managed by the OUR, allocates a predetermined sum annually for disaster occurrences. Customers of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, contribute monthly toward the fund. In a recent webinar, the OUR revealed that the JPS submitted a preliminary claim of US $26.1 million to finance recovery efforts following Hurricane Beryl. It noted that a normal practice following payout is to review the EDF to ensure its adequacy to meet future claims. OUR's Director General Ansord Hewitt has moved to clarify that no proposal is before the regulator to increase customer contribution to the EDF, and any such suggestion is premature. Furthermore, the OUR says it will analyze the legitimacy of the costs associated with Hurricane Beryl, examine the state of the fund following payout, and activate its usual consultation process with all stakeholders to ensure transparency. The government is procuring additional body-worn cameras for members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, in a bid to boost crime prevention efforts across the island. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the procurement process is underway to outfit the law enforcement officers with the items.
The government of Jamaica is committed to the deployment and use of body-worn cameras for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and indeed, where necessary, for the JDF. We have in procurement now over $200 million for cameras. And we procured last time about $70 million worth of cameras. And we continue to procure. But for it to be done, it does take serious planning.
Dr. Holness was speaking at the graduation ceremony of the second cohort of police officers from the JCF's Inspectors Development course at AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston on November 12. Work has begun to replace the Troy Bridge in Trelawney, which was destroyed during the passage of Tropical Storm Sandy in 2021. Stephen Shaw, Manager of Communications and Customer Services at the National Works Agency NWA, says the entity's team is implementing extensive measures such as the installation of box culverts to enhance the bridge's resilience.
We are in the process of reconstructing this bridge that failed in 2021 during the passage of Tropical Storm Sandy. Contract is in place, started at some $234 million. We expect that the new structure will be delivered in about 7 months. We are going to be doing a bit of river training as well to ensure that the channel stays within a defined area so that we don't get a situation where the structure is compromised or undermined in any way, shape or form.
The Troy Bridge links several communities in Trelawney, Manchester and St. Elizabeth. And several Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ offices and revenue centers are set to be opened this fiscal year. TAJ Commissioner General Ainsley Powell says among them are the Christiana Tax Office in Manchester, which is expected to open by the end of the 2024-25 fiscal year, and the Anotabe Tax Office in St. Mary, that is slated to be opened in short order.
We have the Maniville Revenue Service Center, for which we got approval to go ahead from the Cabinet, and we'll be full speed ahead on that one. The Revenue Service Center, we just got back approval from the St. James Municipal Corporation for us to go ahead, and that one is to improve on what we have there at the original office and to ensure that we can move back into that space.
Mr. Powell was speaking at the TAJ's 10th Anniversary Tax Forum last Wednesday. Those were some of the top stories making news last week. I'm Andre Palmer.
The GOJ News Recap, weekends right here on this station. A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Got a tax, customs, or land valuation decision you disagree with? The Revenue Appeals Division is here for you. As an independent entity, we're committed to resolving your tax disputes quickly in a fair, cost-effective, and transparent manner. Don't let grievances overwhelm you. Apply today using our online portal by visiting the Ministry of Finance website at www.mof.gov.jm or call 876-932-4993. The Revenue Appeals Division, driven by purpose, learning with intent.
On today's edition of Jamaica's Promise Buff Bay Primary 4-H promoting sustainable farming. I'm Jada Francis. Stay tuned. Through the 4-H Club, students of Buff Bay Primary School in Portland have been fully engaged in principles of sustainable agriculture, expanding their knowledge of current agricultural practices like containerized farming, hydroponics, aeroponics, and more. A major staple of the school's farming initiative, the semi-greenhouse, was impacted by the passage of Hurricane Beryl earlier this year, but Vice Principal Keisha Brembridge sang the praises of the program prior, describing the 4-H Club as an essential part of the students' school life. She said the club has successfully competed in regional competitions over the years and this year earned an upgrade of the school's semi-greenhouse.
Over the years, our school would have been very competitive in Portland as it relates to the 4-H Club. So over the years, we have won a number of medals. This year, because last year we would have won the school gardening project at the parish level, the 4-H Club of Jamaica decided that they were going to invest in our semi-greenhouse and improve it and update it to be a state-of-the-art training facility for the parish. So they came in and they retrofitted our 4-H Club semi-greenhouse with timers, drip irrigation, tanks, you name it, to make it automated so the student can adapt to the best practices of farming.
The ultimate aim, according to Ms. Brembridge, is for the students to use the technology to encourage sustainable farming in their homes and communities.
Right now, we are promoting sustainable agriculture in the 4-H Club. So because of that, at the school, we are promoting hydroponic agriculture, aquaponic agriculture, and those are the technologies that we're teaching the 4-H Clubites. So with the semi-greenhouse, because of the fact that our school is mostly concrete, we have utilized containerized gardening to be a part of the students' training.
The new agriculture technologies and practices such as hydroponic agriculture and aquaponic agriculture have piqued students' interest at Buff Bay Primary. Many follow through on the practice to tertiary education.
They only interacted with the drones and so at the parish level, but it's something that we want to expand on. I don't know best we can with our limitations, but we want to expose them to as much of it as possible. And the 4-H is now having some zonal training and parish training, which we are going to ensure that the children are definitely a part of.
This sustainable practice of the Buff Bay Primary School has previously produced crops such as lettuce, callaloo, pak choy, peppers, tomatoes, and cucumbers.
So the things that we grow on the school compound, we use it in the canteen for the nutritional value for the school, as well as when we have a surplus, parents would come in and they'd support the club by buying, and it is reinvested in the 4-H clubs at school. The canteen benefited a lot. They didn't have to buy a lot of things when we had it going on, and that is why I'm so happy now that the 4-H has chosen to invest in the school, because now we can do much better, and then we will be able to better supply them with the things.
Ms. Brembridge reaffirmed the significance of this program in letting young people know that farming is about more than just plowing.
We want them to know the different sustainable ways that they can do agriculture within their own environment. So that is why we are introducing hydroponics, aquaponics, and all of those things so that they can see how far agriculture has evolved. We did a training with them that implemented a drone doing watering, courtesy of 4-H at their career day display. So they are very, very interested in 4-H at this time and agriculture on a whole, and we hope it translates into their future plans.
Keisha Brembridge, Vice Principal, Buff Bay Primary School. That's it for this week's program. Thanks so much for your company. And if you know of an interesting program or activity at a primary or high school, let us know and we'll highlight it right here on JRS Radio. Just email us at radio@jrs.gov.jm or call us at 876-926-3590. On behalf of Studio Engineer Joel Samuels, I'm Jada Francis.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
All right, thank you so much there for listening to the latest from the Jamaica Information Service. And as we said before, it's brought to you in time allowed for government broadcast right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. With that, that's a package of information and a feature produced and presented by the Jamaica Information Service today. And you're listening to news on NRP Radio this here Sunday morning. Yes, indeed. It's your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you that are listening right now, if you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com. Or you can call 876-336-9928. Here's your invitation to join us again tomorrow morning at 6:30 for the NRP Break of Day newscast. We encourage you to join this growing medium. Yes, nrpmediaja.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at NRP Media JA. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your morning, reminding you that it's Sunday, and if you walk, ride, or drive, make every effort to arrive alive. Good morning to you. If you're listening across the world, you're listening to nrpmediaja.com. And of course, we know we have our partners at Caravan Vibes Radio over there in Massachusetts and Gospel Expression Radio in New York City. We thank you so much for coming on board and always carrying the programs of NRP. We do it not just for ourselves, we do it for you. And right now, we're going to be heading back to our radio platforms. For those of you who are on the YouTube and Facebook pages, thank you ever so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful Sunday. We're heading off to church in a while, and we're going to be closing out the Facebook and YouTube for the moment, and asking you to go on over to our radio platform at nrpmediaja.com. If you have not yet downloaded our app from the Google Play Store, please go on over and download the app from the Google Play Store. It's the NRP Radio app. So download the NRP Radio app from the Google Play Store and enjoy 24